The eighth step to a slow home is the kitchen. The kitchen is the workhorse of the house. It's the place where everyone congregates, but perhaps no one cooks. Now that might be because we have busy lives, but it could also be because so many kitchens are designed for show rather than use, and that makes life more difficult than it really needs to be.
In a fast house, the kitchen has become a supersized marketing device, often with too many appliances and not enough usable counter space, and the result is a house that is not very simple to live in. So the design criteria for a kitchen is that in a slow home, the kitchen needs to be located outside of the main circulation route and have an efficient work triangle, continuous counter surfaces, and sufficient storage.
So let's have a look at our case study house. Here we have the kitchen. It's on the south side of the house on this street edge here. It's in a large space, open to the rest of the living spaces, but still somewhat removed. It has a corner window on this south and east corner, so it gets lots of natural light coming into that space. We notice that it has a counter that runs all the way along the back wall, as well as a large island in the middle, so there's lots of counter space. There's a bank of floor-to-ceiling storage space over on this side, so there's lots of storage. We have the refrigerator here, the cooktop here, and the sink there, so that we have a very efficient work triangle on this side.
So let's look at the kitchen in a little bit more detail, and you can see that we've got these large corner windows that wrap around this end, bringing a lot of daylighting into the kitchen. And we've got a very efficient work triangle, as we pointed out before, because we've got the stove, the sink, and the fridge located at this end of the kitchen. So the cook can stand here and cook, while somebody else can stand in this section of the kitchen and do prep work while looking at the view or looking back towards the other living space. And this tall floor-to-ceiling pantry wall contains our built-in refrigerator, as well as our wall ovens, and additional floor-to-ceiling storage. So now let's look at some common pitfalls with kitchen design. And the first one is when we have a colliding geometry that manifests itself in the kitchen. So here we've got a collision of geometries. We've got angled walls that result in poor space planning in the kitchen. You can see here that the stove is located here and the fridge is located here. This is too tight between the two of them because of that geometry. It makes the entry into the kitchen awkward, and then it also becomes this awkwardly shaped eating counter at the other end. The second common pitfall is when we have too much floor space, and that makes the kitchen feel big, but it's not very effective to work in because our appliance triangle, there's too much distance between the three dominant appliances, making it too much circulation space within the kitchen.
You're just going to get tired making dinner in this house. And of course, when they get too big, then suddenly the fast house designers start to put a secondary island in that kitchen. And that's the third pitfall, because the problem with this is that that island usually is too small to be very functional, and it really just becomes an obstruction. And in this particular example, we see that it actually gets right in the way of the appliance triangle. So you're either going to have to jump over top of that island or go around it. Our last example is when we've got a common pitfall where there are too many appliances. This is the sort of trophy kitchen problem where somebody's just jammed it full of brand names without any thought to the fact that it takes up almost all of the counter space and storage.
So now it's your turn to answer our question about kitchens. Click on Activity 8.